The 2025 NBA Draft is quickly approaching, which means it is time to prepare my second complete mock draft with loads of new information and intel. This mock that you are about to see is me trying to predict what will happen on the nights of June 25th and 26th. I compiled over 30 recent mocks from various sources ranging from mainstream media like ESPN, Sports Illustrated, CBS Sports, etc., as well as smaller outlets like NBADraft.net and Tankathon, and some YouTubers who I find cover the draft thoroughly like Utility Sports and AVC. This is how I essentially put together my big board. Then from here, I am making the picks that I believe these teams are most likely to make. So hopefully, thanks to the law of averages, this mock right here will be the most accurate you will find on all of YouTube. Before we dive in, please do me a big favor and like the video as it helps me out far more than I think you guys realize, and subscribe for more basketball related content. I am trying to hit 1 million subscribers before draft night, so let's make that happen. Starting things off with the first overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg. It is not common for the first overall pick to be a major question mark. Last year, the Risache versus Sarr situation was an exception, not a rule. Flagg has been destined to be the number 1 overall pick since he was in high school, and he solidified that throughout his freshman year at Duke. The combine was a formality, and none of the private workouts currently going on will change this either. Nico Harrison does not deserve Flagg, who will almost certainly be a star in the league, but he will be the one receiving him. With the second overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Dylan Harper. Back-to-back no-brainer decisions. Not a single mock worth taking seriously has a different 1-2 order. Some people don't like the idea of adding a third point guard to a mix that already includes Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox, but the reality is Harper will immediately be better than Castle, and within 2 years will outshine Fox. I believe that wholeheartedly. San Antonio is going to be a special team this coming season. With the third overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ace Bailey. This is the first pick where variation will be found between experts. But even so, Bailey very well may be the third best player in this draft, and he plays a position Philly desperately needs to fill. They shot themselves in the foot committing so much money and years of their future into Paul George and Joel Embiid, but Bailey alongside Tyrese Maxey gives them a dynamic duo who should be able to thrive playing off one another for years to come. With the fourth overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select VJ Edgecombe. Some people recently have been trying to justify picking someone else here at 4, but it just really doesn't make sense other than to spark clicks on your article or video. VJ is going to be a very good player in the NBA. Charlotte desperately needs a fellow guard to either accompany or replace LaMelo Ball, and he is that man. His shooting is good, playmaking and handle are NBA ready, and his defense may be the best of the top 4, at least out around the perimeter. He is the only option that makes sense. With the 5th overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Con Knuppel. This is the first pick that just about every expert online is genuinely arguing about, but ultimately I think Con will be the one hearing his name called. He is arguably the best shooter in the draft. He defends very well and he scores inside the arc far better than most of this draft's other elite shooters. He doesn't project to be a star, but the reality is every pick from 5 on isn't likely to be one. At least with Con, you are almost guaranteeing yourself a quality starting shooting guard who can do a lot of things playing off ball. Remember, Utah management has made it clear they are trying to make the playoffs this coming year. It doesn't make sense to swing on one of the high upside, low floor guys that are coming up later. With the 6th overall pick, the Washington Wizards selected Trey Johnson. I bet most Washington fans will see Trey falling to them as a blessing thanks to his elite shooting and NBA ready build, but a lot of experts are worried about his creation, rim finishing ability, and lack of defensive instinct, especially with how tall, long, and athletic he is. On paper, he should be the better prospect than Con, but on the hardwood, he just isn't. But I still believe he will have a role in the league for many years to come. If that outside shot can fall and he tries on defense, Washington will have a lot of fun with him alongside their cast of high upside young players. With the 7th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Jeremiah Fears, a point guard who can make a lot of things happen on the court. Fears is a terrific ball handler who can create shots and attack the rim. Plus his defense is very sound around the perimeter. New Orleans should be a very competitive team come playoff time next year. Assuming their current injuries clear up nicely, they would have Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Yves Missy, and DeJounte Murray. That is a lot of firepower and defense. From this draft, they are hoping they can get another guy who can handle the ball and run their offense to bring out the best in everyone. Fears can do a lot on the court, but I and many others am concerned about his shaky outside shot. The Pels need shooters around Zion. If Fears can't reliably knock down his threes, then they are going to be in trouble. But here at 7, there is not a better option for their team. With the 8th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Kasparas Giannis. Some people within the NBA would take Giannis as high as 5th overall, believe it or not, but others wouldn't take him until the teens. He is a polarizing prospect because his role on an NBA court appears to be a primary creator and high shot volume scorer. Not many teams are looking for that type of archetype of a player, especially one who is so unproven. But Brooklyn is a rebuilding team. They are fortunate enough to have 4 first-round picks this year, and I think it would be in their best interest to use all of them to fill out their roster with young players who will get plenty of court time to develop. The 18-year-old Giannis is exactly the type of player that they would want in this spot. With the 9th overall pick, the Toronto Raptors select Kaman Maluak. Some people will argue to draft the best player available no matter what throughout the entire lottery. Some will argue you need to consider team fit more and more as you go. The good thing for Toronto is that Maluak pretty much is both of these. He is expected to be an excellent defensive player in the league very quickly, and the Raptors already are stacked with offensive firepower 1 through 4. In fact, they even already have their starting 5 set, in the defensive anchor Jakob Poeltl, which means Maluak will have time to learn the NBA's version of his position in shorter runs with less expectations. And every single day in practice, he will get to watch and compete with a veteran who plays his position the same way. It is a dream player development opportunity. Some people are suggesting the Raptors trade up to guarantee they don't miss out on Maluak, but I just can't imagine Brooklyn taking a defensive anchor when their team needs anything. And New Orleans already has Yves Missy on their team, so I don't think they want to draft a second, maybe slightly better version of the same guy to pair up with Zion, who needs floor spacers. I think Toronto is safe waiting here for Maluak. With the 10th overall pick, the Houston Rockets select Derek Queen. Houston is a win-now team with dreams of trading for big fish this offseason, but the reality is I don't believe their 10th overall pick is enough of a sweetener to justify another team taking on Jalen Green's fat $100 million over 3-year contract. Green really hurt Houston's future this postseason with his miserable performances. The Phoenix Suns have been rumored to be interested in Houston's pick, but they already have a crazy expensive redundant player on their roster in Bradley Beal. They don't want Green. The 10th overall pick doesn't make him worth it. Because of this, I believe Houston is just going to take the best player available regardless of fit, and that is why Queen is their man. He is a very talented offensive hub center, the archetype of some of the league's most talented individuals. He can turn into a Zach Randolph with shooting and passing, but he could also turn into a Luka Garza type without the shooting. I think Houston would appreciate his potential offensive ability off the bench, but I also think they are hoping another team comes along calling for a trade after seeing him play in the Summer League. With the 11th overall pick, the Portland Trail Blazers select Noah Essendje. Portland is a feisty young team with some very quality young players who they should be very happy with. Their biggest question mark, though, amongst their young core is the point guard role. Scoot Henderson started figuring it out last year, but I'm not sure they are sold on him being the face of their team anymore. The problem is there is not a good enough point guard at 11 to justify passing up on Essendje, who is a very talented rim-attacking athletic forward who does an excellent job finishing around bigger bodies inside. He currently is playing ball over in the German league, and it seems like every performance increases his draft stock a little more than the last. Portland already has Denny Avdia and Toumani Camara, plus win-now veteran Jeremy Grant, so Essendje will have time to come off the bench and learn the game. He is a guy who could be something special, but will most likely at least be a good forward who can defend and attack the rim. With the 12th overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select Colin Murray Boyles. Another situation like the previous, Chicago needs a center, but there is just not one good enough to be picked here at 12. So they might as well take the best player available, who is at least a prospect who looks to be very versatile with what position he can play on the court. Murray Boyles is projected to potentially be the best defender in this draft. He has good size, long arms, is athletic, and most importantly has a really high defensive IQ. He won't do much more than attack the rim and snag offensive rebounds for his team in the half-court set, but that's okay. He is going to be out there for his defense, and a lot can change in the future with his shooting. He is still just a teenager. Chicago won't be forcing him to create looks. He will play his role that he is most comfortable in their system, which will be a recipe to bring out the best in him. With the 13th overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Carter Bryant. This is one that I cannot run away from. I was not high on Bryant in my first mock, but draft experts evidently are. Bryant certainly looks like an NBA player. He has NBA size and athleticism, impressive strength for his age, and has shown he can defend 1 through 4. Plus, he is an excellent shooter from long range. But the question I have is, why did he only average 6 points per game for a team without any other legitimate NBA prospects? How could this guy be a lottery pick but just disappear on the court as much as he did against inferior opponents? He was an American 5-star recruit, so his name carries a lot of weight, but his on-court Houdini acts leave me scratching my head. Thankfully though, they are pretty much set 1 through 4 with their starters, meaning Bryant could be an impactful backup wing behind their young potential star trio of Dyson Daniels, Zachary Reese-Shea, and Jalen Johnson. As a rookie, he won't be asked to do much more than knock down his threes, defend, and sprint and finish on the fast break. And I think he's going to do a good job with that in Atlanta. Before we continue, I must announce a draft night blockbuster trade. The Phoenix Suns are sending Kevin Durant to the San Antonio Spurs in exchange for Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, and their 14th overall pick. A major win-now move for San Antonio that at the same time does not lock down their future, as KD joins Fox in being only 1-year rentals. They, combined with Victor Wembanyama, Dylan Harper, and Stephon Castle, will be a significant competitor out west in 2026. So with the 14th overall pick, the Phoenix Suns select Asa Newell. The Suns have not been in a good place since trading for Bradley Beal. If you want to hear all about it, watch my most recent video. Because of this, they entered the offseason with big plans to shake up their core and give their team a brighter future, while maintaining fan favorite and franchise leading scorer Devin Booker, so they can continue trying to push for the playoffs. Newell is a perfect player to draft at this spot. The 19-year-old is full of potential and showcased a lot to be excited about in college. He is a tall, long rim attacker who has shown signs of an outside shot. Some may not like that he is not a hyper-athletic type, but I honestly prefer more patient 2-foot jumpers, as they usually do a better job avoiding injury, and their game is not limited to relying on their athletic rim finishing. Newell may not be ready to play a significant role for a win-now team, but he will have plenty of valuable trying to win court time in front of him this season, which should help his development down the road and lead to a bright future with the franchise. With the 15th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Thomas Sorber. Some would call this the rich getting richer. OKC is an incredibly well-built team oozing with potential. They could be the next dynasty in the sport, and they still have loads of first-round picks coming their way in the next few years. Taking Sorber here is a long-term sort of pick. He is a giant baby-faced tank in the paint. He made most of his noise defensively in college, averaging an incredible 2 blocks per game, and he also showcased a solid rim attacking ability, throwing down lots of dunks in crowds. He is not a hyper bouncy guy, but his strength combined with his length give him the edge on the interior. OKC needs a real backup center on their team. Isaiah Hartenstein is terrific, but beyond him they are forced to go either really small or really slim, which can cause problems. Sorber shores up their 5 depth and gives them a different sort of look than anything they currently have. Some want OKC to trade this pick, but I just don't see any serious discussions being had, so I believe they will use it. With the 16th overall pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Igor Demon. Memphis shocked the NBA landscape by trading Desmond Bane for a package including 4 unprotected first-round picks, with this pick being one. This could mean the franchise is embracing youth and rebuilding their core after seeing how lackluster the Ja Morant experience has gone. Of course, I recognize Ja is still on the team, but still I stand by them taking Demon. He is a legitimate 6'9" point guard with great passing ability and sky-high confidence. But that shooting stroke was not reliable during his 1 year of college. We'll have to see how it looks in the league now, with arguably less pressure having fallen out of the lottery and with being surrounded by better teammates to help out with the floor spacing. I think Demon is going to be a good player in the NBA, and I think Memphis is going to have a great future. With the 17th overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Nick Clifford. I realize I was too high on Clifford in my first mock draft, but not in the sense that I don't think he'll be a quality player. Rather, I don't think any team will pick him in the lottery. Clifford is a 5-year senior, which horrifies NBA scouts because they're afraid that older prospects won't get any better, but I think that's just kind of silly. Plus, he's already a very well-rounded player who is ready to immediately step on the court and have an impact with a Minnesota team that is trying to win games. They cannot rely on Mike Conley to continue playing such high minutes with such an important role, and though they have Rob Dillingham, I am not convinced he is ready to play big minutes yet either. Plus, unlike those two, Clifford can play off ball as he has a very strong 6-foot 6-inch frame. If this were a rebuilding team drafting here, they would probably pass up on Clifford, but I don't think the Wolves are looking for a long-term project way down here in the teens. With the 18th overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Jace Richardson. DC is fortunate to have 2 first-round picks this year, and with them already selecting Trey Johnson, you may be asking why they would take a second shooting guard, but I feel as though they will not consider fit when making these selections. Jace is an interesting prospect because though his name carries a lot of weight, being the son of a former NBA great, he is not built like an NBA player. Standing only 6'1" and not being a remarkable athlete matters a lot around draft season. This is a big reason he has fallen out of the lottery post-combine, but those measurables don't matter when the games start. What matters there is what he can do on the court, and though I'm rooting for him, he has not shown he can be a team's primary creator as his passing and ball handling are not at an NBA level. He shoots the 3-ball well, but his defense is also very lackluster. Usually, small players make up for it by being the most skilled player on the court, but Jace doesn't have this. Still though, he is only 19 years old, and scouts think he has the potential to make an impact in this league, so I expect him to be drafted here. With the 19th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Nolan Traore, a 19-year-old smooth point guard who handles pressure well, can execute passes, and has been trending in the right direction with his shooting. Over his last 10 games of the 32-game French League season, Traore shot 42% from deep on 4 tries a night. This is a guy who has been compared to Killian Hayes with an ability to shoot a basketball. I find it shocking that he isn't expected to be drafted sooner, and there's no way Brooklyn passes up on him at 19th overall. He would join Yakashones as their building blocks of the future. With the 20th overall pick, the Miami Heat select Rasheer Fleming. I find Fleming to be one of the most underrated players in this draft. People seem to really be holding the fact he is 20 and not 18 over his head. Fleming has good size at 6'9", has shown he can shoot the long ball, attack the rim, rebound, and make things happen defensively inside and out. Miami is a win-now team who never really shows much interest in drafting long-term projects. Especially with them picking here in the late lottery, they want a guy who can help them sooner rather than later. Fleming is their man. With the 21st overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Cedric Coward. Utah will have already made a safe pick with Con Knuppel. Now they are making a risky one with Coward. The lore with this guy is he was a 0-star recruit out of high school who played D3 ball for a year but impressed enough to earn a roster spot on a small D1 team. After 2 years playing mid-major ball and not being on NBA radars, he earned a roster spot on a major conference D1 team. Then after 6 games against mostly mid-major teams, he suffered a season-ending injury. Thankfully though, big schools took notice to him and he actually received offers to transfer to schools like Duke, as well as an invitation to the NBA Draft Combine. Nobody really knew his name that well amongst the pro circuit as he was a fringe second-round talent, but at the Draft Combine his wingspan measured 7'2", he had some of the biggest hands in the class, and his max vert came out at 38.5 inches. This has convinced some scouts they just found a diamond in the rough. There are people who would select Coward as high as 11th overall, but others wouldn't take him until the 2nd round. He is a major mystery man. I believe Utah will take the chance to see if Coward can become the two-way wing they dream he can be. With the 22nd overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Joan Behringer. Atlanta is a win-now team blessed to have 2 first-round picks in this strong draft. They have already taken wing depth with Carter Bryant, now they are taking a center with Behringer. I think Behringer projects to be a solid backup 5 in the NBA. He jumps very high and he moves very well. He does most of his damage to the rim on one end while protecting it on the other. Maybe you don't like his lack of upside or versatility, but remember he is only 18 years old and he has not been playing basketball for that long. He can become something special. With the 23rd overall pick, the Indiana Pacers select Danny Wolf. We have seen the name Wolf brought up a lot lately, as he is a very skilled and mobile big man who can space the floor. The Pacers are in the finals. They have a beautifully built team, but they are not perfect. Behind Miles Turner, they don't really have a great option at the 5. And with him being a free agent this summer, there is a possibility he walks away for nothing. Drafting a big man is insurance, or at the very least, a backup for next year would be a smart decision. With the 24th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Liam McNeely, a prospect who everyone pretty much begrudgingly is putting in the late lottery to mid-first round, but if everyone has the same worries about the guy, then why does he keep getting put above others who are perceived to be more valuable on the court? I think come draft night, he's gonna fall. McNeely worries people because, like his former high school teammate Flagg, he is a primary creator, but he did not do a good job in this role in college. He struggled shooting from both inside and beyond the arc. His playmaking for others was nothing special, he did not defend well, and his UConn team, though widely respected and feared, were rather mediocre all season long. People are worried he is not ready for the NBA. But at the same time, he is very young, and we have seen him play extremely well when he is not the focal point of a team. There is a possibility that once he gets on an NBA roster, he'll hone his shooting and be a serviceable role player. There's also a possibility he doesn't even get that second contract. OKC can afford to take a chance. I anticipate him playing a lot of G League ball this coming year, which is not a bad thing. With the 25th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Will Riley, another inefficient scoring wing who doesn't defend and doesn't look physically ready to play in the NBA, but will be entering the draft because he was a 5-star American recruit, and scouts believe if he puts it all together, he could be a great player in the league. Riley was at least alright with his 2-point shooting in college, but for a 6'9" guy, he really didn't take a lot of shots in the paint. Honestly, I'm a bit worried he will be the next Imani Bates. With the 26th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Noah Penda. I think Penda is a better player than Tejan Salon, who was a lottery pick last year. Penda is a strong French wing who put up impressive counting stats in the French league this past year. He can move bodies to score around the rim, he passes very well for a wing, and his defense is very promising. If his outside shot starts to fall at a respectable clip, then he will project to be someone who will be useful on both ends of the floor. Brooklyn wants young players with high upside, and Penda is just that. With the 27th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Hugo Gonzalez, Brooklyn's 4th first-round pick, another international project who just spent a year learning and developing his game in the world's second toughest league, the EuroLeague. Hugo is very strong for his age and projects to be a good defensive player around the perimeter. We have not seen his shooting fall at a reliable rate yet this year, but if that can come along, then he will round out and turn out to be a solid pro. With the 28th overall pick, the Boston Celtics select Maxime Renaud. Boston is entering a very odd season in 2026. Without Jason Tatum and with a crazy high payroll, all signs are pointing towards them making moves to save money and add young talent to hopefully continue contending more affordably in the future. Their center position is looking to be the most dire problem. Renaud should be a no-brainer pick in this spot. He is a legit 7'1" who can rebound, space the floor, and score inside the paint with putbacks, hooks, and floaters. He is not the strongest big in the world, and I'm not really sure how much better he's going to get unless his shooting takes off, but I think he is a solid pick and the best option at 5 on this big board. With the 29th overall pick, the Phoenix Suns select Ryan Kalkbrenner, a massive 7'2" 5-year senior whose 2.7 blocks per game ranked him 5th in the nation. Kalkbrenner will have an NBA-ready body day 1 in Phoenix, which is something they definitely need as their 5 spot is abysmal. Some people don't think he'll ever be more than a backup in the NBA, but I think the sky is the limit for him. Phoenix will give him plenty of opportunity while they try to win. With the 30th overall pick, the LA Clippers select Walter Clayton Jr. A national champion in college, Clayton Jr. dazzled with Florida, showing off his creation ability and shot making. The Clippers are a win-now team with virtually no youth. He gives them a guy with upside who may one day in the not-too-distant future become an impactful floor general in the league. Moving on to the second round, if you have made it this far, thank you. Please like the video if you've forgotten to do so. Let's continue. With the 31st overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Adu Thero, a tough wing who did most of his work attacking the rim in college and showcased some good defensive instincts. Standing 6'7", his size is not remarkable for the power forward role, but he is strong and moves very well. Minnesota's additions of Nick Clifford and Thero reflect how they want players who can contribute right away for an affordable dollar amount. With the 32nd overall pick, the Boston Celtics select Ben Seraph, a brilliant point guard mind whose playstyle makes the game appear very slow as he controls the offense. His passing is what impressed me the most while playing in the Euro Cup. The best basketball players will appear calm and poised regardless of the tempo of the game, and Seraph has this. His shooting wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. Boston is probably going to be trying to move one of or both of Derek White and Drew Holiday this summer, so a new point guard on their depth chart will be needed. Seraph can be this guy. With the 33rd overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Drake Powell, another American 5-star recruit who did not play a big role in his lone year of college. Like Carter Bryant, Powell only scored single digits on a good efficiency, but did not create much or rebound, and unlike Bryant, he did not show he was a good defender. Powell is barely 200 pounds, standing 6'6". He doesn't have an NBA-ready body, and I was actually surprised he kept his name in the draft pool. But more power to him. If a team is willing to pay you millions of dollars to teach you and get you ready to play, take it. Charlotte is a rebuilding team with a roster that will likely be 50% 24 years old and younger. This may not be the best place to learn, but he'll at least get lots of opportunity. With the 34th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Chaz Lanier, a three-point sharpshooter with a very quick release. He averaged the most three-pointers made per game of anyone in this class at over 3, thanks to his high shot volume and 39% accuracy. NBA scouts don't love his defense and the fact that he is already 23 years old, but that three-point shot is undeniable. I believe he will be a useful player in the NBA from day one, which is pretty uncommon for second-round picks. Charlotte taking him will almost certainly guarantee him minutes too, which should give him plenty of opportunity to show off what he can do and prove he belongs in the league. With the 35th overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Janai Broome. Undersized and lacking much of a vertical leap is usually a death sentence for a college center trying to make it in the NBA, but Broome may be an exception. The beefy big man has a very soft touch around the basket, was one of the best rebounders in the nation, and somehow managed to protect the rim at an elite rate of 2.1 blocks per game. Philly enters next season with a lot of questions surrounding Joel Embiid. Now they might have Andre Drummond and Adem Bona on their roster next year, but I think Broome would still be a good addition to have. With the 36th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Bogoljub Markovic. Their 5th pick overall, Brooklyn would be adding another teenager with high potential in Markovic. He looked well beyond his years this past season in the Adriatic League, often used as a primary ball handler. The 6'11" forward proved he could attack the rim, space the floor, and create looks for his teammates. Some people don't think he projects to be a good defender due to his slim build, but I think that's pretty foolish logic. I had Markovic going in the first round of my first mock, but that was not the popular take apparently. Most people have him falling into the 30s, which Brooklyn would love. With the 37th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons select Cam Jones. Finding a point guard who can play a few minutes here and there while Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey rest is a must for Detroit this offseason. Cam is a senior who showed he could run an offense in college, but his outside shot proved to be inconsistent throughout his 4 years at Marquette. I won't guarantee Cam will be their sixth man, but a young guard with potential is a good thing to have. This is Detroit's only draft pick this year, so they need to make it count. With the 38th pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Alex Tui, a tall, strong Aussie with a soft shooting touch. Tui really impressed me this past season in the NBL as he was far and away the best rising star player. You wish he rebounded better with his size, but his ability to get in passing lanes and in general play around the perimeter is nice. The Spurs have a stacked team going into next year, but they don't have much quality forward depth. Tui will likely get backup minutes in year 1. With the 39th overall pick, the Toronto Raptors select Tyrese Proctor, a Duke upperclassman who showed he could knock down threes and handle the ball while in college. His defense is not great, And though labeled as a point guard, he did not get to orchestrate much with the star-studded Duke team, but he is a smart player who understands his role and does what he does at a high rate. The Raptors would love to add another guy who could potentially handle the ball and initiate their offense or play off ball and knock down threes. With the 40th overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Yannick Konan Niederhauser, a high-flying athletic center with long arms. His role on the court was to attack the rim and block shots in college, and he did this very well. But in the NBA, where every center is massive and athletic, we will have to see if his skills are good enough for him to keep pulling this off. His rebounding was not good in college, and he did not create looks or space on the floor at all. I fear he may be a Jackson Hayes type, but if he can hone his skills and understand how to move and set screens on offense, he could be more like a Derek Lively. DC would love a young 5 next to Sarr at the 4. We'll see if he can be that. With the 41st overall pick, the Golden State Warriors select Kobe Brea, a 5-year senior lights-out high-release shooter. Over Brea's last 2 years of college, he shot 46% from deep on 6 tries a game. It does not get any better than that. Golden State's future is not in a great position. Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody are alright floor spacers, but that's about all they have for young perimeter players. Brea could give them another floor spacer, but he of course isn't a very good defensive player, which is probably going to hurt his chances a lot at getting on the court in the NBA, especially for a Warriors team that values defense so heavily. With the 42nd overall pick, the Sacramento Kings select John Tonje. During this past season, Tonje looked like a pro amongst college kids. His shooting is terrific, he is crafty and creative finishing around the rim, and he has shown composure under pressure. Sacramento is a horribly run franchise that is in desperate need of a roster overhaul, but I don't think a major one is coming unless Domantas Sabonis demands a trade. You may not like Tonje's positional fit since they already have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, Devin Carter, and Keon Ellis, but I don't think that matters to them. There is not a forward or a big man ready to contribute being mocked high enough for them to take. I think they will take a guard because he is the closest thing to NBA ready available. With the 43rd overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Zion James. The 5-year senior was a pretty good role player with Duke this past year. His shooting was accurate, his strength is NBA ready, but he is a bit small to play off ball and he doesn't have point guard skills, so I'm not really sure how he's going to hang in the NBA. But Utah needs help around the perimeter, and an upperclassman who already has on-court chemistry with their 5th overall pick, Concanople, would be a good fit. With the 44th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Kobe Sanders, an effective offensive wing who does a good job scoring around defenders rather than over the top of them. Sanders impressed me the most with his playmaking ability, as most NBA hopeful ball-dominant wings at mid-major schools don't really rack up very many assists, but he averaged over 4 a game, showing he potentially could be a primary creator someday at the pro level. Although I'm not really anticipating him getting any significant time with OKC, as they're already so stacked. Even if he's just a two-way guy, I think he's going to be a good pick. With the 45th overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select Micah Peavy, a highly skilled upperclassman guard who can run the fast break, shoot the long ball, and of course defend at an elite clip. His 2.3 steals per game ranked him near the top of all of college basketball. He is not a highly touted prospect, but his on-court ability is undeniable, as he performed very well at the NBA Draft Combine scrimmages. When drafting this low, NBA teams aren't expecting much, rather they are just hoping for a good locker room guy who will work hard and grind in practice and in the G League. I think Peavy could be that man. With the 46th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select John Polakidis. A bit of a surprising selection you may think, since most mocks have not featured the sharpshooter from Yale, but Orlando has shown interest. Polakidis is not a noteworthy athlete, but he has good size at 6'5", a long 6'10" wingspan, and most importantly, he has a lights-out long ball that fell at a 40% clip over 3 straight years on a high volume. He actually matches Chaz Lanier with 3.2 makes per game this past season for the most of anyone in the class. He will almost certainly be a two-way guy, getting most of his run in the G League, but if his shooting translates and he can learn how to defend, we could see him playing real NBA minutes down the line. With the 47th overall pick, the Milwaukee Bucks select Hansen Yang. I had Yang going in the first round of my original mock because I believe in him as a player, but evidently NBA scouts picture him more as a late first to anywhere in the second round type pick. He has worked out privately with a lot of NBA teams, surely because they want to see for themselves how he performs on the court with quicker, bouncier athletes. The Chinese center has a skilled, patient offensive game highlighted by his post moves and passing. He is also a legit 7'2" with a high basketball IQ, which helped him protect the paint at an elite level in the CBA. The Bucks may be entering next year without a center on their roster if Brook Lopez truly leaves, which doesn't bode well for keeping Giannis Antetokounmpo happy. I don't think Yang will be a starter on day one, but I am confident he will get a lot of minutes as a rookie on this team. With the 48th pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Amari Williams. I really like this guy's game. The British big man may be the best passing center in the class. His patient, low-post game, where his teammates cut around him, is beautiful to watch as he just reads the floor extremely well. Unfortunately, he's not the biggest 5 in the world, standing only 6'10", nor is he the bounciest. And though he is a smart player, his shooting does not project well, as he did not attempt many threes in college and his free throw accuracy is awful. Memphis likes tough, strong players who can defend and play well as a team, and they are in need of a backup for Zach Edey. Perhaps Amari can be that man. With the 49th overall pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Eric Dixon. The best scorer in all of college basketball, Dixon is a patient, strong, and well-rounded offensive creator who can spread the floor or post people up. What hurts him is he is not a great athlete, rebounder, or defender. He is just a scorer. The Cavs enter the offseason with considerable drama after flaming out in round 2 as the number 1 seed. And now trade rumors are swirling around Darius Garland. Regardless of what happens there, one of the biggest weaknesses are their forward spots. I understand that problem is not likely to be fixed by a mid-second round pick, but if Dixon develops his weaknesses, it would give them another option. With the 50th overall pick, the New York Knicks select Rocco Zikarsky. It took a while, but the 7'4" Australian teenage giant with long arms and good hops finally will hear his name called in the bottom third of the second round. Rocco did not get much court time in year 2 in the NBL despite showing plenty of flashes of brilliance during his rookie season. It's hard to say why this is. He is still a very raw player, I get that, but his shot blocking and rim finishing are why scouts are interested in him, and he is still surprisingly solid there. Next year, New York will have a new head coach, which means they will be using their bench hopefully like a normal NBA team. But either way, I'm sure he's going to get a lot of G League time. With the 51st overall pick, the LA Clippers select Aizen Almanza, a fascinating prospect owed to his very unusual pro journey he has taken to get here. The Spanish big man initially played with Real Madrid's developmental pipeline before joining the American Overtime Elite League during what was supposed to be his sophomore year of high school. He didn't play much or leave an impression as a 16-year-old, but in year 2 he became one of the best centers in their league. This attracted the G League Ignite team, where he opted to play rather than going to college. He was okay here, but the team was terrible, so it was very hard to weigh what his production actually meant. When the Ignite folded, he initially declared for the 2024 NBA draft, but due to a lack of interest, opted to instead join the NBL's Rising Stars program. This past year in Australia, Almanza looked like a quality backup big, thanks to his size and patience, but he is not an impressive athlete, passer, defender, or shooter. I did not have him in my first mock, but it seems that NBA teams down in the 50s are interested. And LAC needs a big body, so I have them taking him. With the 52nd overall pick, the Phoenix Suns selected Javon Small, a mature point guard who showcased he could run an offense, create looks for himself and teammates, knock down threes, and defend around the arc. He may not project to be an impactful NBA player right away, but Javon worked really hard to get to where he is after barely touching the court during his freshman year with a mid-major team. He climbed the ladder of competition in college and is deserving of an opportunity in the NBA. With the 53rd overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Max Shulga. The 5-year senior guard spent his first 3 seasons of college ball with Utah State, so there is a not insignificant connection there. Shulga is a strong guard who doesn't blow you away athletically but still managed to put up a lot of points in college. His long-range shooting was reliable, both in the catch and shoot and off the dribble, and his ability to move with the ball to create layups or passes was very impressive. I believe Utah will be willing to give him a look. With the 54th overall pick, the Indiana Pacers select Ryan Nembhard. A bit of a happy coincidence here. Nembhard led the nation in assists this past season while knocking down his threes at an impressive 40% clip. He has proven he can hang with bigger, more athletic players and earned the right to be a legitimate NBA prospect after blowing away the competition at the G League Combine. Indy is in need of a point guard, Ryan is ranked 53.4 on the consensus big board, and his older brother Andrew is a major contributor with their finals contending team. If Ryan is available here, I bet they're gonna take him. With the 55th overall pick, the LA Lakers select Vladislav Golden. LA is an ultra win-now team with an extremely short window left with LeBron James. Sure, they have Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, but after LeBron retires, who knows what's gonna happen to their roster. The center position was their most glaring problem last year, and though Golden is a late second round pick, he at least gives them a legitimate 7' 1" body to take up space in the paint defensively and fight for rebounds. I admire how far Golden has come as a player through his 5-year college career. Hopefully with LA he gets an opportunity in the NBA. With the 56th overall pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Dink Hate, another G League Ignite orphan. Hate was intending to follow in the footsteps of Scoot Henderson and compete for 2 years with the Ignite team while he learned how to be a pro. Unfortunately, the Ignite program was ran terribly and folded after his first season. As a result, the NBA assigned him to their Mexico City G League team this past year, and it made for a very difficult season. Hate shot the ball very poorly, did not defend well, and all around struggled to leave a meaningful impact on the court. But the 19-year-old was at a time considered a first-round pick. There are NBA teams who still think he has untapped potential. Memphis would definitely take a flyer on him. With the 57th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Nicolas Avdalas. A very underrated player in my opinion, the 6'9" Avdalas just had himself a terrific season in the Greek League, showing off some impressive long-range shooting and ball handling. He took a lot of shots off the dribble and did an excellent job making them. He does not have the pedigree to his name as certain other European forwards, but Avdalas will be a player worth following this coming season. I really hope they give him at least a two-way spot and don't just draft and stash him. With the 58th overall pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Lakeland Ulbrich, an offensively gifted Australian big man who just won a championship in the NBL while playing a significant role off their bench. He has a soft touch around the rim and does a good job defending on the ground as he moves his feet quite well. He also does a surprisingly good job against bigger bodies on both ends, meaning he could potentially play either the 4 or 5 in the NBA with a 6'10" frame. The Cavs need depth in these spots. Ulbrich could be that man. And finally, with the 59th overall pick, the Houston Rockets select Grant Nelson, a very mobile American upperclassman big man who has shown he can protect the rim, rebound, and shoot a little. His accuracy in college was not great, but the foundation and motivation to work hard is there. He has been a pretty popular private invite player, having had workouts with no fewer than 5 different teams. The Rockets would use this pick to ensure they get him in their developmental system. And there you have it, my complete 2025 Mock Draft 2.0. Thank you guys for watching the video all the way up until the end. Please let me know your thoughts on these players and their potential fit with their teams. I am really excited for this year's draft and I hope you guys are too. Be sure to subscribe to stick around with me as I make more basketball related content all off season long. I will see you all next time.